It is time for First Pitch, August 1st. We got Dave Cokin and Tony Finn on. I am Drew Martin. We're breaking down the Thursday night slate here of MLB action. Dave Cokin on Twitter, at Dave Cokin. Welcome to the show. How you doing this morning, buddy?
Very good. Good action all day long, even though it's a short slate in baseball today. Some teams have the day off, but we got action starting this morning. I've got the Twins-Marlins game going right now. And then tonight, even though it's usually the most boring game you'll ever watch, we do have NFL preseason football. Woo-hoo.
The Hall of Fame game, absolutely. Some heavy movement in that game, too. I guess we can break it down at the end. And we also got Tony Finn on Twitter, at Finn, at WagerTalk. Tony, good morning to you.
Don't forget the at. Yeah. Good morning to you guys, too. Great day. It's a great day here in Las Vegas. It's only going to be about 130 degrees. Perfect.
Yeah, but the grasshoppers are gone.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Yeah.
It was absolutely nuts last week. I've never seen anything like it. We did it. It's not the first time we've had a grasshopper infestation here. And in fact, Ron Kantowski, who's a terrific sports writer for the Review-Journal, did a story about an NHL exhibition game that was played here sometime back in the early 90s, and we were having a problem with grasshoppers. And what was happening is because they were attracted to light. So they were literally crashing into the ice during the hockey game. It was nasty. But last week was incredible. And I'll tell you a quick story, really funny. I just got a new car, okay? And I got hungry about, 11:30, midnight. And of course, in Las Vegas, not a problem to go out and find something that's open and get some food. So I'm driving to one of the local places where it's a fast food joint. I'm just going to pick up like a chicken sandwich or one of those deals. And I pull in, and because these insects are attracted to light, I'm looking at the drive-thru, and it's like this. They're all over the place, right? And I'm sitting there going, there's no way I'm taking this brand new car and opening a window in a drive-thru and having these suckers in my car. Not if it was an old car, yeah, all right, I'll put up with it because insects don't bother me, but not in the new car. So I discarded the idea of getting drive-thru and went home and had some ice cream.
Even healthier.
No grasshoppers. And there's a local pizza joint, by the way, that's doing grasshopper pizza.
Oh, man. All right. So
Chocolate-covered grasshoppers.
I've never had them.
You remember when we were kids, I used to sell them in the grocery store.
Not where I was.
No?
Well, we can segue from the grasshoppers, and you did. It was a healthy chicken sandwich to ice cream there, Dave. And we got 9:03, 9:04, 7:15 Eastern, 4:15 Pacific start here. We got the Cubs and the Cardinals. Leicester versus Flaherty, seeing about minus 115 now, up to as high as minus 120 on the Cards. Looks like a total of 8 or 8.5, depending where you're shopping. Dave, come back to you. Are you interested in getting involved in the Cubs and Cards tonight?
Yeah, I made this 120, so I clearly got no play. Some numbers. Flaherty's been good at home, and Flaherty's been good lately. He's got a 67 game score average the last 4, and again, 50 is average. So 67 that indicates some really good form. And for the season, he's got a 60 at home. Interesting to note this on Flaherty. He's really good first time through the lineup. He's got a 1.27 ERA first time through the lineup. After that, he can get hit. And for whatever reason, as well as the Cardinals have been playing lately, team they have a great deal of trouble with is the Cubs. And the Cubs got him again last night. John Lester, first time through the lineup, pretty good. 2.68. After that, not so good. This is a game where I think you might make a case for a first 5 under. And then in game, you might want to consider taking a shot at the over. Because the indications are that once the 2 pitchers are through the lineup the first time, you might start to see more offense in this game.
You know, Tony, whenever I watch Flaherty pitch, I feel like he's a high-ceiling guy. You know, he's got good movement, good fastball there. It's just, like Dave said, sometimes he doesn't bring it throughout the whole start. But either way, you interested in getting involved in this one?
Well, if I was, it would be to fade the Cardinals and Flaherty. I think this pitching staff is I think they outproduced or outpitched their peripherals last year, and this year Most of them have shown that. Flaherty's done a good job. Recently, though, listen, he's really struggling with trusting his stuff. If you notice, I think last game or the last 2 games, he's only had 16 first pitch strikes. He survived it. He survived it 2 starts back, but he got lifted after 4 1/3 innings because his pitch count was so high. The St. Louis gets credit for their bullpen. When Andrew Miller's fresh, their bullpen's okay. But I trust neither. I don't trust St. Louis at all. I trust Cubs just enough to probably get dangerous with them on the money line. But in this game, like Dave said, I think the number's right. I'm just going to watch.
All right, good stuff. We're talking with Dave Cokin and Tony Finn from WagerTalk.com. Dave has his 5% college football up for Week 1. Check that out at the website. Also, NFLX, the NFL preseason game up as well. I believe a 4% on that. Check out sportsmemo.com. We got Teddy Covers top play. Bunch of other guys. Joe Ranieri on a hot streak in MLB. So both websites up and loaded. WagerTalk and sportsmemo.com. We got the Reds and the Braves. DeSclafani versus Fried. Looks like the Braves commanding, minus 150 to as high as minus 156 right now. I'm seeing 9.5 the total. Tony, you want to start us off here with the Reds and Braves?
Fried started off the season really hot. Listen, this kid has a really good curveball. His RPMs, his rotation is over the top. They've compared it to Kershaw's curveball and his rotation. He has his peripherals spoke to a little regression to the midseason, and it's happened. And as long as he's got command, if he can throw, if he's getting his curveball over, he's really difficult to hit, especially for a Cincinnati team. I think that that Descalani, listen, he's got a pretty good fastball. He can get up and throw it, but unless you're a fantasy owner just looking for strikeouts, this is a guy that you can't trust. Atlanta's I think it's a little steep right now in price wise for Fried because we don't know where he's at with this little mid-season slump. But if you put a gun to my head, as I've said many times, I would probably be on the Braves at home.
Yeah, I agree with you. I agree with this move a little bit, but you're right. It is getting a little pricey here, up over minus 150. Dave, what are you thinking with the Reds and the Braves?
I think it's a little too high, but most prices against the Reds are too high because the Reds they've been kind of the Pythagorean screw-up this year. Their runs for, runs against indicates they should be better than they've been. They just have not been good at winning close games. And actually, even though they won yesterday, it was a perfect example of what has been a problem with the Reds this year, which is offensive inefficiency. They ended up winning the game 4-1, I guess it was the final score. But this was a game where they probably should have had 7 or 8 runs up, and they just found ways not to score runs. They've had a lot of problems putting together big innings and taking advantage of scoring situations, and yesterday was a good example of that. So I find it tough to lay big prices against the Reds because I know what the team should be capable of doing. They just aren't. In this particular game, DeSclafani, the guy's been pitching good ball lately. His last 5 starts, he's really found his form. He's throwing strikes. He's doing a good job. He's doing a particularly good job first couple of times through the order. After that, not so good. But that's the same thing with a lot of pitchers. Fried is really not pitching particularly well, but he's in one of those runs where the team just keeps on winning. And in fact, on the season, the Braves are 14-6 when he pitches. That's a .700 winning percentage. So not a guy you want to go against. Also, an intangible might be in play here. The Braves really improved their bullpen yesterday in a big way. They picked up Shane Green and Mark Melanson, but Shane Green to me is the more important pickup. And I think that's a psychological lift for a team that's big problem has been at the end of games. They've had some trouble closing games. Now, they've got themselves an arsenal for the late innings. I think you'll see Luke Jackson kind of phased out, and Melanson will probably be seeing a lot of the 7th inning. I think Newcomb, who is turning out to be one of those failed starters, who's going to be a very good relief pitcher because he's basically a 1.5 pitch guy. Newcomb looks very comfortable in the bullpen. And now Green to close games. Atlanta's going to be in a really good mental place today. And I don't think I'd want to go against this team, at least for the next few days.
Yeah, I like the moves that the Braves made too at the deadline. Hey, Dave, let me ask you a handicapping question here on the Reds. You know that fight that there was, one of the better baseball fights I've seen in a while with the pitcher going, yeah, man.
And of course, we got to send out local props. Amir Garrett, Las Vegas kid, way to go, boy! I'm telling you what, he was tough there, huh? I'm telling you what, man. I'm excited about him. I like Amir Garrett. Two-sport athlete.
Yeah, power forward.
Heck of a college basketball player. And he's decided to go full-time with baseball, and he's really coming into his own as a threat out of the bullpen. He's got good stuff.
Yeah, he's got top-notch stuff. But my question to you, one, it was an exciting fight to watch, but what about, the Reds kind of motivational-wise? Do you think there's anything to that as far as betting them going forward the next few games?
Nah.
No. Tony, how do you feel about that?
I didn't. It doesn't matter to me.
Listen, the trade deadline's always there's lots of things to look at this time of year. One of them is what has a team done? What does they trade? Who do they pick up? Probably more so for me, is the situation like the Dodgers in. I think you have to be a little bit careful. If the Dodgers continue to stretch this thing out, 14-game lead in their division, 3 or 4 games up, the best record overall. If it gets any larger than that, you have to be a little wary about what are they going to play to win. Listen, this is not a very good situational team, this Dodgers, but the trade deadline, I'm careful about a few things, but like Dave said, much like the Cubs have been miserable on the road, I don't put a lot of emphasis on that unless there's a park factor involved.
All right, guys, and we got the one lone late-night action game, 10:10 Eastern, one get-back game for tonight. It's the San Diego Padres, LA Dodgers, Lucchesi versus Kershaw. Kershaw and the Dodgers commanding about minus 200 now. Minus 210 is the high water mark here. We got 7.5 or 8 as the total. Tony, you want to start us off with the get-back game tonight?
Well, if you're a Kershaw fan and you believe he's 80% of the pitcher he was 2 years ago, then you're really supposed to like him. He's 19-6 lifetime. He's owned the Padres. Now, I would have said 2 months ago that this is a better Padres team than they've been in years past. However, they're really not been very good against left-handed pitching, especially Hosmer. Miserable. He has been abysmal against left-handed pitching. And Lucchesi, people have this. I talk to people all the time and say Lucchesi throws. He's got this wicked fastball. He's not really. His peripherals suggest that he better hit the black or he's in trouble. And the Dodgers are hitting the ball and pitching well. Look what they did to Colorado. In Colorado, you're supposed to love Kershaw, but you can't like him at minus 200 unless you're on the run line.
Mild disagreement there. I mean, there's nothing wrong with going with a big favorite if they're in the right spot. And now there are a couple of negatives here. They're coming out of Colorado, which is just not a real positive. But that's offset by a nice revenge angle involving Kershaw. Last time he pitched against the Padres at home, they lost. And you like to come back with good pitchers in situations like that. Plus, the Dodgers is basically an absurd record when Kershaw pitches. 14-4 this year, plus 8-0 to end last season. So they're 22-4 in his last 26 starts. He's got really good numbers at home. Lucchesi, not real sharp lately. The Padres have lost 5 of his last 6 starts. His road game score average for the year is only 44, and he's pretty much a 2 times through the lineup guy right now. I think you can build a case for the Padres. It's in the price. I'm not going to argue that. I mean, this is a pretty big number, but the Dodgers look like the right side.
Yeah, and just to throw in one more thing, Lucchesi, I think, has walked about 9 in his last 3 starts. It's one of these kids that have only thrown 120 some innings in their careers. They have a tendency to start struggling with some command. So we'll see. I'll be watching, as Dave and I out here on the West Coast. We like to watch this West Coast baseball. At least I do.
Well, yeah, and actually we do get to watch the Dodgers tonight because the Padres station will pick it up. Otherwise, you don't get to watch them. Dodgers, we don't get to see the Dodgers very often.
Man, that's a terrible situation.
No, it's stupid. But
horrible.
Nobody ever accused Major League Baseball's upper echelon of being smart. So,
Dave, explain this. How is Oakland? How can they ever be blacked out? It takes you 2 days to get to Oakland. You know?
I don't know.
I don't either.
You got me. It's not to. Well, yeah, I'll go off on a tangent. This is the problem. I mean, if you have cable, if you have Cox cable, the Giants and Oakland are blacked out locally. Now they're not on DirecTV. You can get those sports channels on DirecTV. But on the flip side, DirecTV is having some kind of an argument with CBS, and you can't get those games. You can't get the CBS, which means if you like to watch golf and it's on CBS, you're going to have to go to a book someplace to watch. There are no perfect solutions out there.
That CBS issue will probably be resolved here before the football season.
Yeah, so you won't be able to watch like the SEC games on CBS?
I don't know. I mean, they're having some kind of an argument on the fee structure, I guess. It's beyond my limited comprehension.
All right,
guys. About money.
Well, we got three games left here, all in the American League. We'll start off with Toronto at Baltimore. Thornton is on the hill for the Blue Jays. Pretty much a pick-em price here. -105, as high as -108 on Baltimore being at home. 10 being the total. Dave, you got an opinion here on this AL East matchup?
No, I'm going to stay out of it. Wojciechowski has really come on.
Yeah.
His last starts, he's got a new pitch working, and this happens sometimes when guys who have to tweak a delivery or get a new pitch or something like that will go through a brief period where they get really hot. He looks like he's in one of those grooves right now. Thornton has not been good lately for the Blue Jays. The flip side of it is the Orioles are coming home off a trip, lengthy trip, and first game back can be difficult. And the Blue Jays, with their young core of talented young talent,
they're hitting.
Talented young talent. Boy, that sounded good. The young guys who are sons of former major leaguers are all hitting right now.
Yeah.
Bichette had a great game yesterday. Biggio has been impressive since he's come up. Guerrero, of course, we know what he's capable of. There's some excitement with Toronto right now. One other note, though, I have no idea what the Blue Jays are going to do in their bullpen because they traded away half the pen yesterday. Giles is a little bit dinged up, so your guess is as good as mine what's going to happen late in games. I really don't want any part of Thornton. The line of this game has shifted with the Blue Jays having opened the favorite. The Orioles now a small chalk. That's based on the hot pitching of Wojciechowski. I think it's an easy pass.
Yeah, go ahead, Tony.
No, I agree. Listen, Wojciechowski has some really good numbers, peripherals. This is a guy that has a 33 coming in. I think it was 2 starts ago. A 33% strikeout rate with swing miss strike rate of 16%. Here's the problem: when they make contact, he's got like a 92% or 92 mile an hour exit velocity and about a 40% hard hit rate. So if he's missing bats, listen, that mitigates a lot of problems. He doesn't walk; he does a good job. But when they connect, they hit him hard. And I'm not, as Dave said, Thornton's he's been nursing some injuries. So this game's really a kind of a strange deal. I don't trust Toronto to hit the ball consistently, but the numbers is flip a coin. If that's what you're looking for, just to get some action, then this might be a game to be fun to watch.
And staying in the AL East, we got the Tampa Bay Rays at the Boston Red Sox. McKay on the hill for the Rays. Andrew Kashner for the Red Sox in Fenway Park, commanded -125. The Red Sox are. Total of 11 here, Tony. You interested in this AL East matchup? No,
McKay's, listen, he's a nice little prospect, but I didn't like the start he had against the White Sox, a team that really is offensively challenged. I didn't like that. I thought he didn't trust his stuff. He looked kind of shaky. I watched the game. And Kashner is a guy that's got splits that are strange. I mean, he's almost better against left-handers than against right-handers. And I liked Tampa yesterday as a nice dog. And if I'm gonna throw a dart tonight, I probably am gonna take Tampa, who's hit the ball much better the last couple weeks.
Looking towards the Rays. Okay. What about you, Dave?
It's a big game for Boston because they've already undone what they did over the weekend against the Yankees. And starting pitching, I mean, Rick Porcello was just awful last night. Kashner's 3 starts since coming over from Baltimore, not real good. He did get a win in his last start, but he seems to be struggling a bit in the spotlight. McKay is a really talented two-way player for the Rays, and he's been great the first time through the lineup. Not good after that. Now, it's a small sample after that, obviously, but we'll see what happens there with McKay. I do think he's a very high-end prospect for this team. Their pitching staff next year could be just plain nasty. The Red Sox had better win this baseball game. I think they're 1-7. I believe 1-7 at home this year against the Rays, which you just can't do that. The Red Sox will be in a little bit of an angle here, which is home favorites trying to avoid getting swept in a 3-game series. That's a play on. It's been pretty solid. Do you want to back Cashner? Well, I think I might take a shot with it here. I would lean to the Red Sox in this game, but excuse me, I'm dry this morning. I want to throw out a modest proposal for the Red Sox, who have had a terrible time with the bullpen this year. Terrible. Part of that is that they've only had 14 starts all season, and we're into August, so this is a lot of games. They've only had 14 starts all year, 14 games all season, where the starter has gone 7 or more innings. You contrast that with some of the other teams, and it's like, wow, that's spectacularly low. And among the worst culprits is David Price, who's had 1 start all year where he's gone 7 innings. If the Red Sox want to fix the bullpen, I think the move is to take David Price, and I know it's a radical, it's not a modest proposal, it's somewhat radical, but you look at Price's numbers, he's much better. First time through the order. This year, I think the batting average is .205. Pretty ordinary after that. To me, Price is a perfect guy, and he's pitched out of the bullpen before, going back early in his career and even a couple of years ago in the playoffs. I think Price could be the answer to their bullpen woes, because you could have him available 3 games out of 5, make him a Josh Hader type late in the game.
Yeah.
Good chance, problem solved. Sometimes you have to think outside the box. I don't think the Red Sox are going to make the playoffs with the bullpen currently in its present state. Price at this time, to me, offers more value as a relief pitcher than as a starter, where he's been kind of average. I don't think they'll do it, because far be it from any major league team outside of a couple of them to ever do anything that's outside the box like this. But I think if the Red Sox wanted to take a daring tact, it would be to move David Price to the bullpen right now. And, they didn't pick up anybody at the deadline. So to me, they're going to have to do something from within if they want to solve this relief pitching issue.
And to interrupt, Drew, the problem, Dave's right. Unfortunately, they don't have any starting pitching, and Price, even as bad as he's been second and third time through the lineup, of course, they just don't have any answers to fill Price's spot. That's an issue. So,
well, you can always go. See, to me, you can always go the opener route. And things like that. It has kind of worked for a team called Tampa Bay.
I know.
Been very successful with it. Why not emulate what they've done? Porcello's. The problem is Porcello.
Yes.
They have to keep sending out there, and he's just a train wreck right now.
Yeah. Dave, yesterday you made a good point. All you had to do is look at the money line. You have Boston, Tampa Bay, and Porcello is a $1.20 favorite. That spoke to what these odds makers think about Porcello.
Yeah, it's an interesting case study there. And you talk about, teams not wanting to look outside the box, and they're playing the Rays right now. It's the team that, pretty much does look outside the box, and it's really helped them. A team that I thought might go away, but they're right in the mix now, Dave.
There's no team in baseball that has outperformed its talent more than Tampa Bay. They've got good pitching, but now the pitching staff's all hurt. But you look at the lineup, and that's not a scary lineup. And yet the Rays have found a way to go 62-48. And they're I got to tell you, if they win tonight, they're going to be 3.5 games ahead of Boston. And, a couple of games behind Cleveland. Oakland's in the mix. The Red Sox are in big trouble if they lose this game tonight. They really need this game.
Yeah, it's crazy what they've been able to do as an organization, especially playing in that so-called Major League Baseball stadium they got in Tropicana Field. But we're talking with Dave Cokin, at Dave Cokin on Twitter, and Tony Finn, at WagerTalk on Twitter. Dave has his 5% college football play up for Week 1 in college football at WagerTalk.com. Also, NFL preseason game up as well. Make sure to check out WagerTalk and Sports Memo for Thursday's action. Also, college football and NFLX coming up at sportsmemo.com as well. We got one last game here in the American League to finish up the show here. 9:13, 9:14, the rotation number. 7:10 Eastern first pitch here. Houston and Cleveland. Great matchup here, guys, in the American League. Cole versus Salazar. We got 8.5 being the total. Dave, start us off, man. We got minus 185, the Astros on the road.
Well, I don't need to say anything about Garrett Cole. The guy's been absolutely great for Houston, and he's likely going to have another good game tonight because his consistency has been sensational. He's just one start after another. Quality, quality, quality. The exciting part here is the return of Danny Salazar, the often injured flamethrower for the Indians. Hasn't pitched in the majors since 2017. His rehabs have been pretty good. But one thing to note is that his highest pitch count was in his most recent rehab start. He went 69 pitches. So you can figure 75 is the ceiling. And the Astros pretty good at extending pitch counts. So I'm figuring maybe 4 innings for Salazar, and then the Indians are going to have to go bullpen after that. That's advantage Houston. I'm not going to lay the price. I think it's a little too steep for me. And the Indians have been playing good ball. But this is not a spot where I'd be taking a shot with the home dog.
Tony, what do you think in conclusion?
This, in my opinion, this game comes down to, do you think Salazar is going to be rusty? In fact, I think this is a situation where you may see Cleveland put Salazar in a kind of an opener situation where he doesn't go but 2 or 3 innings, and they're not going to push him. They're not, the one thing they can't afford to do is spend all this time and energy and money they spent on Salazar getting him back in the lineup, and he is often injured. They're probably going to be careful. But the bottom line is, Dave's absolutely correct. I mean, if I'm voting for a Cy Young right now, it's Cole. I mean, this guy has been stupid good. He's 28 years old, in his prime. He's picked up 2 miles an hour on his fastball. He's increased his strikeouts. He's decreased his walks, and his WAR it's essentially, he is, if you want to take all the aspects and all the variables of what he brings, he's the best pitcher in baseball right now.
So Tony, you'd vote Cy Young in the American League, Cole, and what in the National League, Ryu?
I wouldn't vote. Listen. I think the National League still got some openings. Rio's a good pitcher, but he's not a dominant pitcher like a Cole. He doesn't miss that many bats, and he's more of a finesse guy. He'll strike some people out and hit some black, but in the National League, I'd still him up in the air. But there's not one question in my mind right now. Cole is the AL Cy Young winner.
Dave, anything to throw in there on the Cy Youngs?
No, I really don't pay attention to that stuff. I might look at the end of the season, but I'm not a big awards guy.
All right. Well, any quick thoughts here on the NFLX game tonight? Denver taking the money. Anybody interested in that and betting this one?
No, I think there's finally been. Let me check the number just to see what's happening. It looks like there's. I was talking to a couple of books the last couple of days. That was early money on Denver. It's kind of been a little more balanced. There's been. So I have no interest in the game whatsoever outside to watch it and see, play repetition and stuff like that. But no, I mean, as far as the money goes, public will be on the Broncos. I think the sharp money already got involved and they're done. So, and there could be some buyback. I don't think the game will get to 3. If it does, you're going to see even though 3 is not as big, it's not as key a number in the preseason as it is in regular season. I think if it went to 3, you'd get immediate buyback from the numbers crunchers. So 2.5 looks like it's where it's going to settle. And I'll just sit back and watch and see what happens. I'm not going to draw any conclusions out of it either. It's a week 0 game.
Yeah, it's a tough one to handicap. Tony, are you a big NFL guy? Any interested in tonight's game?
I'm a big NFL guy, but I'm not a big NFLX guy. Although I find some situations. Last year, I think I released 4 preseason games. This game is you're going to see no starters. You're going to see backups playing this whole game. So if you have the ability to assess backups for both these teams, maybe you can find a differential that gives you an edge, or you believe you have an edge. But Dave's right. I mean, this is a coin flip game that could come down to a bad call or a bad decision by one player. So I'm out.
Are you suggesting there's bad calls made in the NFL?
No, never a bat. They never miss a call. They're just never. But they're just not always right. So it's whatever you want to call that. I don't know.
By the way, Atlanta, I think, has gone two preseasons without a win.
4-12. I think 4-12 against the spread with the mighty Quinn. I believe that's correct. Don't quote me.
All right, guys. Well, for Tony Finn, Dave Cokin, I am Drew Martin. We'll be back tomorrow with Dave Cokin and Brian Leonard. Best of luck with your bets out there, guys. And thanks for tuning in.
See you later, folks.